So we're recording. How are you?
You know, the truth.
You've been busy as shit.
Oh my god, I almost like I literally lost my shit today. It's crazy. Like I was in Chick-fil-A and I had to pull my child outside. I was like, I'm about to. I was like, either I'm gonna kill him or my boyfriend's gonna answer the phone. I don't know which one. And he answered the phone, and I was like, the Lord knew I was gonna kill my child. So
All right. So before we go into all of that, do me a favor and introduce yourself, please.
yes. Well, I am Asia. I am a mother of two beautiful children.
Who almost did.
Yes. But that is my life. My life is my two kids right now. And so everything has to make sense. Everything that I do has to make sense for them. So that's where I am. That's
How
who
would
I
you how would you rate being a parent?
am. 0 stars for
Zero
sure.
out of a million
Out
stars.
of a million. Do not recommend. Not right now. Maybe in
And
like 2 years, if you ask me, or if you asked me 2 years ago, maybe the answer would have been different. But currently, 0 stars.
how old are they now?
3 and 5. And it's the 3 year old, it's not the 5 year old.
So is that all right? So like when they're super little, like
Hmm.
a year, I guess, is that considered super little?
Yeah, I mean, anything under two, I think after two, they become independent. They start to have a sense of self. And so that's when they become annoying because then you start to see you and your children. The stubbornness, the independence, all the things that you want your kids to have drive you nuts. As crazy as it sounds, like that's what parenting is.
I mean, that's a lot because I know you and you were a pain in the ass all the
Exactly.
time.
Absolutely. And that's why I always said I never wanted a girl because I can't only deal with me and my mom. That's enough female in my life. Anything more, it would push me over the edge. But then I had my 3 year old, and he is just me in boy form. And so taking me, putting that on steroids, and he flips, there's no fear in his life. Like it's so dramatic and traumatic. Like it's just wild. It's a crazy combo.
Damn. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah.
I
The
just,
dude busted his lip the other day. We went skating for the first time. He busted his lip, got up and kept skating. And I was like, all right. That just sums up his life right there.
man, when you're younger, though, I mean, that's so much easier, right?
Yeah, for some kids still have a fear, like no matter. Like some kids are fearful and some kids just don't even know what that word means at all.
Would you say then, like, all right, so I was having this debate like years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody was like, all right, you shape your children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the surrounding, the way you behave, XYZ. But then this other guy who had like kids and they were already like about to go to college, he was like, nah, they're born already with a certain level of genetic of you.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do, they will be who they are. Like they're
Yeah.
already kind of programmed.
Totally. I agree with man number two. He hit the nail on the head. I for sure believe that you can shape them to a certain extent and you can put them in the perfect environments, but like the reality is they are who they are, just like we are who we are. I mean, you can even take yourself and look at your parents and just compare the two and like for me I always wonder like how are my parents and how is my mom sometimes because I'm just like it don't make sense. Yeah, like we have those similarities and that's why I'm like okay, and I know that they're on my birth certificate, but otherwise like I'm not like them in so many ways that it's also scary. So yes and no for sure.
So you're not like your parents at all? Like your
I
your parents
have
aren't wild?
They're not wild. I am like the redhead of the family. Like I'm just so different in so many different ways. But then I got like these really good characteristics from my dad that I'm thankful for. Like he's super organized. He's a hard worker. He's thriving and he pushes, and there's no stopping him. And then there's my mom who is all of that. She's the entrepreneur. She's more of the free spirited, but like in a contained kind of way. And like me and her are total opposites, but like I get like her I don't want to say stubbornness, but like I get her strengths as a woman, like her I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like she has pushed. She's very independent, but in the same sense, she's dependent. Like, like I don't know. Like, it's so weird. Like, I have little bits and pieces that that say, yes, I am Lori and Timothy's child. But then, like, if you just did one of those circles, you remember the two circles where you like compare and contrast in the
Yeah,
middle? Like,
yeah,
that's me. Like, I'm just a big red in the middle. Like, it's so different. So I agree
yeah.
with that, man.
No, I mean, and it's never easy, right? Like it's never gonna be your twin, and it's never gonna be your complete opposite, right? It's
Yeah.
always gonna be some sort of level of shared attributes.
Yeah, agreed.
But I do appreciate you being you though, because like when was it? Like a month or two ago when I saw you,
Mm-hmm.
first thing you do is like, all right, let's go get a drink.
I know the perfect place.
I mean, that was amazing. That took me back to college.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you want to go to class? Nah, let's go get a drink somewhere.
Heck yeah. What's important? What's going to make me happy right now?
Right, right. Actually, I had this other debate the other day about like, all right, not to get like sidetracked here, but my buddy was like, there's physically zero benefit to alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
like zero physical
True.
uh benefits. And I was
Well, I don't
like,
know unless it comes to, and I'll take it all the way there. Unless it comes to certain things,
like,
sex. Then it
yeah,
has its pros if you don't overdo it.
well, yeah, obviously. I mean, overdoing anything is not gonna be
True.
the best. I mean, you can eat. I mean, like eggs, right? Eggs are good for
Yeah.
you, but man, if you start eating eggs breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're not doing enough exercise, man, that
Mhm.
cholesterol is gonna go through the roof.
Absolutely.
Um, nah, but like alcohol and other shit. And I actually have this discussion with my mom about other drugs because my mom's like, "Yo, don't do drugs, don't do drugs," and I'm like, "Mom, yo, chill." Um,
Drugs are good.
yeah. No, but like alcohol. Okay, so comparing it to like the pandemic, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic hits and everyone's like, "Oh shit, avoid humans,
Mm-hmm.
avoid crowds, avoid going outside, avoid everything, right? Like stay
Mm-hmm.
indoors, don't do anything." But then people started going crazy,
Yeah.
like not talking to people and not getting enough vitamin D and not, I don't know, actually moving around, right? Like
Yeah.
not utilizing your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you avoided COVID for a while because eventually everyone's gonna get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's a huge drawback to it, right? And so I'm not saying that everybody needs alcohol. I'm not saying that at all, but there are certain benefits to a lot of people, right? So
Yeah.
they go out to a party and they're just kind of like awkward or something, right? Or a little
Yeah.
nervous or whatever. Or they are an artist or whatever. They need to be a little bit more creative. A drink or two,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden puts your mind in a different spot, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, hold on. Let me go talk to this person. Or oh shit, like I want to talk about or I want to draw this, right? And you start kind
Yeah.
of having ideas and things just flow. And there is a huge benefit to that, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't even know how we got into that shit.
I agree, though, for sure. And alcohol during the pandemic was necessary, obviously, because they allowed it to be open. And I don't know how any parent could have stayed home with kids of any age without it. That's all.
Yeah, man, I don't know how you parents did it.
8 o'clock a.m. Margarita.
Forget the breakfast beer, breakfast margarita. Let's go.
Yeah, beer was not a thing. That was a thing of the past during the pandemic. You needed that hardcore take me there because if not, I'm gonna take them there. So which one is it?
See, for me, I couldn't do out like I don't like alcohol by myself.
What?
Like if I'm at home, I never drink.
Wow.
I never drink.
This
But
is
yo, you put me in a party, yo, shots, let's go. I'm ready to turn up.
that's funny. I can take shots by myself. I don't need a crowd. I don't need a party. I'm the party. Me, myself, and I. I have had drinks in my bathroom by myself, hiding from the kids. You know, I don't
That's
even know.
amazing. What about and obviously you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but what
Mhm.
about weed? You still smoke or do anything like that?
Um, it's so funny because I don't really smoke like that. One, like my kids are, we all live together, so it's not
Right.
like I wouldn't want them to smell it or
Right.
see it or anything like that. But I feel like I always have it just in case. Sometimes I need to go to sleep, and not even just for recreational, but like sometimes it helps me clean up. Sometimes I need to go to sleep, and I just don't want to drink alcohol all the time because usually this time of the year I cut it out, just for multiple benefits. But
Right.
starting my year out like that, and sometimes weed's just that it just is something I need. Um, and I totally forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, I just not. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. So it's crazy. I've changed jobs 3 times in the last year. Maybe a last year and a half, year plus plus. I went back to work July 2021. Um, I had that job. I barely made it to a year. Took another job, made it maybe 6, 7, 8 months. Took another job, and now just started another job. So that means 3 drug tests. For whatever reason, when I get ready to take a drug test, I always want to smoke weed. I don't know what it is. Is it like deep, deep rebellion in me that's like, let's smoke weed because it's time to take a drug? Like, I don't understand why my brain goes there, but like literally, as soon as I've taken the drug test, I'll go smoke weed. It's so weird. So I probably smoked weed a handful of times in the last year and a half, but other than that, it's not just like something I have to do. I feel like weed for me was more of that party thing. Like
Mm.
I was never, everybody smoked in high school. I didn't really smoke until college. And then I feel like I was skinny. I was smoking weed and drinking beer and I was swimming. Like, and that was the skinny me. Like, I want her back. So I don't know.
Well, I'm sure it's tough now, right? Like being a mama too, busy as shit. It's
Yeah.
tough to get in shape and shit like that.
Yeah.
But
You got to be laser focused, and weed's going to be like, well, you do whatever you want. Draw on the walls. I don't care. Get creative. And I don't need to do that. So we put weed on the back burner. Weed's the weekend without kids.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Nah, I enjoy weed,
Hmm.
but again, it's got to be like in the right setting.
Yeah.
Because I know
I don't
people that
know.
do take it to like help them sleep, but
Yeah.
I've never, I've never really struggled to sleep. So,
Well, that must be nice. I would love to say that. I haven't slept in weeks.
I got a friend who hasn't slept in like years,
That's crazy.
and she's tried like medication. She's tried
Yeah.
like I don't know, like studies to like see why she's not sleeping and all this other
Yeah.
crazy shit. And I'm like, damn, dude, like I feel bad, but
Yeah.
I told her I was like, yo, maybe like go do some exercises and then get real tired. And she's like, nope,
Yeah.
not enough.
Well, they say not to work out before you go to bed.
Well, not like right before,
Yeah.
but like
I mean, she can have sex. That always, I don't know. Sometimes I wake up after that and I'm just like alert. I have to clean the whole house. And then other times I'm like, I'm out. Like, I don't know.
yo, peace.
Yeah.
Nah, but my mom. You ever do like shrooms or
No.
like acid or anything like that?
I always thought I would be the one in a million. I like that is dare. That's the only time dare actually worked for me. I felt like I was that one. Like if I tried any of that, then I would be the one person that died from trying it.
You're
So it
gonna
just never.
die.
Yeah, absolutely. But I watched everybody else. Like you remember Misha? She used to do everything, and I'm just like, wild. Can't do it. I just thought I would be the one to die. So no coke. No. I mean, I've had lace weed, but that wasn't anything I did on purpose.
Right.
But no, I just Adderall is like the most wild thing other than weed that I've ever done.
I
I
took like half an Adderall once,
hmm
but from my understanding, that shit like just puts you on alert, right?
it makes me like I did speed. Like Adderall was like speed for me.
See, I can't do that. Like I'm already hyper enough.
Yeah, I thought the same. And that's why I never had caffeine. I didn't have caffeine until the pandemic. I didn't drink like coffee and stuff like that. I've never been like a
Really?
drinker. Yeah, like I didn't need caffeine. I don't need caffeine. I do now because obviously I'm a mom of two and full-time job and life, but I just never needed coffee. I was good. If they ever saw me drinking coffee at work, they would take it out of my hand because they don't know what's going to happen after that. when the 2012, when the DNC was here and we had to work absurd
Mm-hmm.
hours, I remember having like shots of espresso and then just like having the shakes after that because we had to stay
Jesus.
up. I think it was super late. They got back from the speech or whatever that was like at midnight, 1 a.m. And you have all these people coming back to the hotels and stuff. And of course, I'm like, I gotta stay awake. And we try, and I'm stupid, never had espresso before. 5 shots in, like it's alcohol. Here we are, lit, shaky. Like, well, I'm never doing that again.
I remember I started drinking coffee in college because I think it was like business law 101 or whatever it was. And I mean the reason that you and I got along is because we were like fuck class.
Yeah.
And so that's always been my attitude. Like I hate school, I hate class, I hate all that shit. Like if it were up to me, I would have never done it.
Yeah. I look back and just like, why did I do it? Whatever. Here we are.
Yeah, and then I would take classes and I would skip as much as I could. And then for test day, I would just like cram.
Yeah, because we felt like we didn't, it wasn't really a challenge. Like everything was so basic. I
It's
don't
just
feel like there was
boring.
any part of college that was hard. It was just tedious. There was nothing that
Right.
was, I remember, and I can't remember her name right now, but she was basically most of our econ class professor. Ah, I
I
cannot
know
think.
who you're talking about. The
Yeah,
the older, not the older lady, but the
yeah.
lady.
Never had Taco Bell. That's all I can think of right now. But
I don't remember her name.
I can't. But she, I remember like I failed. I was taking summer classes just to get ahead when I had switched my major. It put me back a little bit. And I remember taking summer classes just to, make sure I was going to be on time with graduating. And that was that summer I was smoking weed and I was working a lot and I don't know what else. I had so much going on that summer. I was just doing a lot and I like had my hands in too many different places. And I got to the final, which was oral, and I just like I couldn't think of anything. I just like blank. And she was so nice and so gracious and like it's crazy. I never had like a teacher or professor I have in high school, but care so much like about my education. She's like, you're literally like my top performer in here. I don't understand like what happened. I'm like, I don't either. And I'm like crying in tears. And she's like, I'm gonna give you another chance, like, because I think I needed that class to basically be done. And I just like couldn't, I don't know what it was. I just could not focus that entire summer. Like accounting, I hated it. I was on Pinterest the entire time. Like it was just felt like it was a waste of my time. I felt like nothing that I was looking at, and I thinking about it and talking about it now, I feel like that's what my son is. Like he's just not being challenged. Even his teacher said the other day, he's bored. Like,
Right.
oh, I get it. Like you just, it was not anything in college. Maybe I had the wrong major. I don't know, but I just felt like a waste of time. The social part, definitely, I'll give it an A plus. But otherwise, like college was so stupid.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
really
even I
was.
remember graduating and starting to work at Bank of America, and my boss's boss was like, "Yeah, college is just a way to prove that you're capable of finishing something.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like
So
once you get that piece of paper, nobody gives a shit like what
no,
classes you took. Nobody cares about your
no,
GPA. Nobody cares about
none of it.
any of that shit. Like unless you're being like super specific, like a hand doctor,
Yeah.
right? Like then that matters, right? Like, yo,
Right.
did you actually do this? Did you actually do that? But most
Yeah.
jobs, like behind a desk, who cares?
Yeah. I feel like medical and like educational, those are the two things that you need, education for. And I feel like law is law. Like you're going to do that alone and you're going to always be testing and doesn't necessarily require you to take X amount of years, but like you're going to always be learning law. It's always going to be new law, especially what we learned that over the pandemic. Like they're going to change stuff constantly. So like that's something that's a progressive learning thing. It's long term. It's never ending for law. But like education, all of our teachers and all of our medical people, those are like the only groups I feel like you really need college for. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you can work and learn, and your experience is going to take you the same place that your education did or didn't.
All without that debt.
Exactly. And I look at that too and I'm like, dude, I made so much money. I could have paid for college in college.
Yeah.
Where
I
did the money
mean,
go?
But that's the silly thing, right? Like you don't get a college degree and you go work at a bank and they're like, all right, well, you can come up to this level and that's it.
Yeah.
Like you're maxed out at like 40, 50K.
Yeah.
Like you're done.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right. And that's what happened to my brother, right? Like he was working at a
Yeah.
bank and then I graduate and my first job, I'm making more than him. He's like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, what?
Yep.
So he went back to college and now he's making good money. But that's the thing, right? Like you
Yeah.
just gotta put yourself in debt. And
Scam. Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's all broken at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But
Absolutely.
what are you gonna do? What was it? What was it?
Go to college.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, there were three classes. That's what I was thinking. There were three classes in college that actually challenged me and like pushed me. One was econometrics,
Mm-hmm.
the other one was game theory, and
Mm-hmm.
the other one was like mathematical economics, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually suck at math.
I loved it. I actually had to wear headphones in class though, because once you got to a certain level of math in college, none of them really spoke like real English. So I would put my
Yeah.
headphones on and I would just watch them do the problems and then I would reteach myself. But I couldn't listen to them or else I was screwed. So like, because at one point my minor was actually math, but I think statistics was like two classes less. So I was like, nope, we're going with what's less. But I
Yeah.
love
No, I
math.
mean respect for people to do that shit. Like if you yeah, math, nah, I'm out.
I
I'm
love it.
out. I'm out.
I
I'm out.
wish I would have like stayed in it and practiced, but I get two second chances because I'll be doing it all over again real soon.
I met someone the other day and her I think she said her master's was in math or something like that. And I'm like, man, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
nah, nah. I'd rather just, I don't know, do construction than fucking do math. I'll tell
Math
you that much.
construction. I mean, you do need math though. It's very important. It's how they get numbers, random numbers that mean absolutely nothing to us because it doesn't make sense. But
Yeah, I mean, everything's math, right? But I don't like it.
I know I'm waiting on math to figure out my bonus, so they need to figure that out this week.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, I still need a calculator for everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have it's funny. I just have the basic one, but I keep like every desk I move to, I bring my calculator with me. I don't like the computer calculator. I'm just so old school. I'd rather type it in. And I'll do my phone calculator, but I'd rather have a tangible calculator where I can type my numbers in.
I'll tell you what, I actually went and played mini golf today.
What?
I went and played mini golf and it was only 9 holes.
Oh, I guess it was
And
mini.
and I at the very end of it, I grabbed the scorecard and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna add these up, right? And I pull out my calculator, and then I'm like, you know what? This is dumb. Like none of these numbers are higher than 7. Like I am just so used to just using a calculator.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this is embarrassing. I put my phone away. I was like, all right, let me do this. 3 plus 2, 5.
Oh yeah.
Plus
What?
3, 8, I think. Plus 2, 10. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm doing this. And then at the end of it, I added it all up. I wrote it down and I did it again just to make sure I ain't fuck
Yep.
up. I was like,
I
damn
know.
it.
Check your work. I'm always rechecking. I'll do it in my head and then I still check it on the calculator like all the time.
Very embarrassing, but
Whatever.
sorry.
It's just checking for accuracy. That's it.
It's quality assurance
Quality assurance.
on my own damn self with like
Right.
9 numbers. How
I don't
embarrassing.
trust me.
Yeah, but for real, like I don't know how I got like how I have a job or I had a job in like data analytics. I don't know how I got that job.
That's funny.
People were talking to me like, oh yeah, if you just get the square root of this and do that, you can just get the formula for whatever and then apply it to whatever. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I
Whatever.
agree.
You don't give yourself enough credit for certain things. I will say that too.
I mean, stuff like that, nah.
No. Yeah.
But if you want to
Whatever.
talk about like arguments and shit, yo, I should have been a lawyer, man.
For sure. You would have been very annoying, but I would have paid you. I feel like I've said that like a few times since graduating. Like, dang, I wish I would have just been a lawyer. But this at the same time, like, I don't want to lie and I don't want to defend like bad people.
But that's the thing. Like, okay, the only thing that kept me from becoming a lawyer was all the reading.
Yeah.
Like, I hate math. I hate reading. Like, I don't know how I'm alive.
What subject do you like? Coloring? Or like my kids like lunch? I'm like, that's not a
Yo, lunch, gym class. Yeah.
anything that doesn't require a desk and a pencil.
Right. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, look, not to like get too deep into it, but humans were not designed to just sit behind a desk and bullshit, right? Like,
Uh,
that's just not what we're designed to do. But no, yeah, I'm more like artistic, creative, talking. So the
yeah.
job I have now is like perfect. I just talk to a bunch of people, tell them what to do, and like negotiate. And so I'm just like, all right, so we're good, right? Like, I can do that.
Yeah,
I
that's right
like
up
the
there.
human element of that.
Absolutely. Same. I could not deal with people in any job. Like I would have to have some type of interaction.
Yeah, my
Against my
last
interaction, but I definitely need some interaction.
oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, people like you, probably people like me, we have to have
Mm-hmm.
some sort of, what do you call it?
Like
Yeah,
face to face.
interaction. Yeah,
Yeah.
like some sort of connection.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Uh but every now and then I meet people, and this is why I was like, man, I should have been a lawyer, because I've met some people who are like not the brightest,
Yeah.
and they're over there making like 300, 400, 500K a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I
Well,
poor?
they had more time too. Some of them
Well, they had
either
the
like,
patience and the power to do it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
I see a lot of people like that, and they live in their best life now because they work to get to that point. But it definitely took time, dedication, and patience for sure.
yeah, and that's something that I refuse. Like, I can't even wait in line for like a restaurant.
Oh my
Like,
god, I just said that today. And this little girl, like her dad was like, you never want to wait in line. I was like, I'm with you, sister. Me either. I don't want to wait in line. I had to wait. Well, I didn't have to. But there was like a line at church, and I was like, this is why I don't come over here because this specific church always has a line. And I like walked in with a group of kids that I didn't have to stand in line, but I'm so impatient. It's terrible.
were they
It really
giving out like free chicken sandwiches or something at church?
no.
Like, why is it so popular?
It's always like that. It's just a crowded location, but I just don't do well with lines or waiting. And that's anywhere. Like I'll come back or I'll do the easier route or I'll starve. I'm not standing in line. I'm just not. I hate it.
Yeah, but that's like, I remember times I didn't go to Chick-fil-A because of them lines.
Mm-hmm. But shout out to the app now. You don't have to wait in line. And then if I'm
Nah,
waiting longer than like 5 minutes and I'm like, I pre-ordered, why am I still waiting?
I don't know why. I'm just
Entitled.
anti-app.
No,
I don't
I'm
use
all app.
Chick-fil-A app, McDonald's app, none of that shit.
I use all of them because they come with their benefits because you get rewarded for using it. I get free stuff all the time. I love free stuff, especially food. Well, basically food. It's the only thing I care about. If it's free, it's for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only app, and this is kind of like my guilty pleasure here, like Papa John's.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what about like Papa John's. It just slaps every time.
But I don't need the app for Papa John's. I just log on through the website. I could just
Well,
log.
the app, like you said, like, oh well, yeah, even if you do it on
I
the
could,
website,
yeah.
you still get the points, right?
Mhm.
But damn, man, like I'll like legit download the app, order Papa John's. Once it gets here, I delete it.
That's funny.
I'm like, I'm never gonna do this again.
And then you do it again.
And then
You
like,
re-download it.
yeah,
Papa
like,
John sounds good right now.
yo, that shit is so good.
I had like $30 and I was starving the other day. I had like $30 on my Papa whatever account. And I was like, well, about to order some Papa John's. Kids are asleep.
Papa's in the house.
Nothing else. I always
Oh,
buy my team Papa John's and then I reap the benefits, of course. So I'm always like, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it.
yo, I used to do that when I was in consulting and I was like traveling and stuff like that. I would order Papa
Mhm.
John's for myself. Obviously, they pay for it.
Yep.
And then like in a couple months, I'd be like, yo, I got like 60 Papa
Yes.
dollars up in here. Like, and I'd like, or like whenever I'd visit Charlotte and visit all my friends. I'd be like, yo, Papa's on me.
AKA it's on the people that pay for it before.
Right.
Here we are. That's literally me. I'm always paying for stuff. And then when I was traveling a little bit later last year, I would always like pay for everything so I can get like all the points and stuff. I'm like, no, like I never wanted a company card. I never wanted like anybody else to pay for it. I always picked up the tab. We went training. We went to training. And I was like, oh, I got the tab for all of us, and then I'll just like split it to each department when I get ready to expense it. But at least I'm using my physical card to get all the points. Oh God, I got so many points. It's the best.
Yeah. I mean, those are the little benefits of like those situations.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
But yeah, I mean, I get crucified here in New York when I'd be like, "Oh, Papa John's is the shit." They'd be like, "What?"
I'm sure. I'm sure you do. And I just thought about that too. That's hilarious.
I mean, look,
You
there's a
Papa John.
there are look. Shout out to Lunetta's in the Upper East. There's one in like Midtown somewhere down there, like on the 20s, 30s, somewhere. Another Lunetta's. Awesome, delicious pizza, local. You can go to Joe's. That's a famous whatever. If you just want a good slice of like pepperoni. And there's a couple of other like really legit spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man, like in general, if you just walk into a random pizza shop in New York City, chances are it's gonna be shit.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
true. I
just
don't think I've
not
ever had
good.
quality pizza, and I eat pizza every time I'm there for the most part because it's usually like the hangover meal, if not bagels. But I don't think I've had like good, great pizza, and maybe I need to.
You gotta know where to go. And that's the thing,
But I've
right?
been
Like,
with local people every time, and just I don't know. You got to take me to get pizza next time I'm there.
all right, I'm telling you, even Ben's Pizza on West Fourth, if you get like a large pepperoni and you let it cool down a little bit because that shit comes out hot, damn, that shit slaps. Like it's
Really?
so good. It's
I've
so
just had
good.
all regular, like nothing's been memorable, none of the pizza. And then I'm
Mm.
so mad when I was in Chicago, we ordered pizza and it was weird.
Yeah, Chicago style, I'm not a huge fan.
I like pizza any style it comes, but I don't know. Maybe I just didn't order. I ordered the place that somebody told me to order, but I don't know. Hmm.
You know, Detroit style pizza. You know what that is? It's
No,
like
I
the
don't.
crunchy deep dish.
I think so. I think they actually have that at Noda, one of the restaurants here. Obviously, it's not like authentic, but
Well, that Detroit style, like I'm not a huge like crust fan,
mhm.
but if it's like that crunchy, like burnt cheese on the ends type of shit,
Mhm.
oh man. Like
Yeah, I'm
I'll
pretty
eat
sure.
an entire pizza and like regret it, but I mean it's so worth it because it's so good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a place over here in Noda that sells something similar. It's pretty good too, actually. And I always like a little kick to my pizza. Gotta have some hot sauce or something hot.
Are you
Hot.
gonna leave Charlotte?
I don't think so, especially now that my kids are in school. I want them to stay consistent. So if I do, it'll be 12 years. But I don't know. My boyfriend just asked me the same thing. Like, do I want to stay in North Carolina? And I think the answer is I do, at least until the kids are older. Like, I don't want to have them move and uproot them. Like, I want them to have consistency throughout school, like, school age. Like, if they were still in daycare and he wanted to move, I'd be like, let's do it. But for them to have to start over, it's a lot, especially for the older one. He's not the one to adjust the best. And he's in a good place right now. Like, even when they were out of school for like 3 weeks, I was like, you're not staying at home. I'm gonna just let you know that right now. You're gonna go to your brother's daycare. They have school age kids there. And so he went for 1 week out of the three, but he just like it took him all week to adjust. But then like today,
Mm.
Martin Luther King, of course, school is out, so I took him to my son's daycare. I'm like, I'm dropping y'all off. I'm going to get my nails done and run some errands, and I'll come back and get y'all. But y'all not staying at home with me today. Y'all been at home all weekend. So, but he just like doesn't adjust the way that my younger son does. Because my younger one is obviously he's more like me. Like you can put me in any environment and I'll adjust. Like I'm good. Like not the same for him. So
Right. Yeah,
I,
that's a skill too, right? Like you
yeah,
kind of got to work at. And some
Yeah.
people have, and some people just don't, right?
Yeah. Some people don't want it either. It's like a
Right,
fear of.
right.
I didn't realize how many people had like social anxiety and like
Oh my
fear of being around
God,
people.
right?
Like it's so I've heard it from like a couple of people. We were at the skating ring, and I didn't know my boyfriend wasn't a huge fan of like crowds, and which how I'm like completely opposite. Like throw me in the crowd, whatever, physically. And then I saw this lady. She was like, "It's just so many people here," and I'm just like, people don't bother me now. Did it need a vent to like air out the place? Absolutely, but other than that, like people don't bother me.
Like adjusting and like being able to handle crowds and talking to people and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I never realized, like you said, how many people struggle with that.
Yeah, so
Like it's
many people.
crazy. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I'm the most social person. I can introduce myself to everybody and be like super normal and like chit chat with every single person that I meet. Like I can't do that.
I could.
Yeah, I know you can. I mean, but all right. So here's the difference, though, right? Like people like you just you, and if they adapt, great. If they don't, fuck them. Like you
Pretty
still gonna
much.
be you, and you're gonna be there, and you're gonna have a good time.
Yep.
I'm like right in the middle, where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be myself, right? But if I'm like with strangers, or I don't know how sensitive they are, because you know me, I get in trouble all the time. Like
Yeah.
I'll say shit I shouldn't be saying, but at the same time,
People
this is
can't handle
America,
it.
you know. Like fuck you. I'm gonna say
It's
whatever the fuck I
America.
want, you know.
It's America.
Like, and I get in trouble with that shit. Like even if we agree, I'll say it in a way where they're like, "Nah, you can't say that,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Well, why not?" And then they're like, "Well, because I'm better than you," or whatever they fucking say. I don't know.
People are sensitive and people feel like there's a right way to do everything, and it's not. And people need to
Right,
get over it and get over themselves.
right.
But I mean, you just keep it moving. Like, okay, shame on you if you don't. Like, I'm not about to be unhappy with you. Bye.
Yep. No, I met this guy. He was from Atlanta, and like, okay, so like here's like different situations, right? Like, if let's say that I go into a social event where I don't know anybody,
Mm-hmm.
I will behave a lot more
What I would.
than if I go into a setting where I already know that they're friends with some of my friends. Then I'm a
Yeah.
lot more like, all right, cool. Then you're cool. Then I can say whatever the fuck I want, right?
Yeah.
So a friend of mine introduced me to this other person that's like from Atlanta. And as soon as they said Atlanta, I was like, yo, fuck Atlanta, man. Atlanta sucks. And I feel comfortable saying that because I
Your
assume that they're
friends
cool,
there.
right? Yeah, like
Yeah.
everyone's cool. Like everybody knows that we're all cool. But if I meet a stranger and it's a professional or more professional setting, I'll be like, oh, Atlanta, yeah, I've been there a couple times. It never really grabbed my attention.
I
And then
mean
they,
that.
and,
Yeah.
be more, a little bit more like courteous as opposed to
Yeah.
like, fuck your town, man. Like,
It's a professional fu versus a authentic fu. I get it, time and place, but I
oh,
feel like
man.
there's certain things you could say that about and get away with it. Like if you're talking about a sports team, any type of sports team,
Right,
and you
right.
said that, you could literally say that in any environment, no matter what, and you'll be okay.
That's
But
true.
when it comes to like certain like geographics or whatever, like for me, I'm not a huge fan of Atlanta either, and I would probably say that once we got into conversation, but I wouldn't. I think that's also the difference between us, right? Like you come in hot. Like I come in and then I get hot. I'm not just like hot automatically. Like you're coming in with like shots, all right?
Yeah.
Everything is fired. Pew pew pew.
Yeah. I mean, like every now and then I'm like, oh shit. All right, cool. I'll take it back. Hang on, hang on. Like, you're not as cool as I thought you were, but
You're not as cool as I thought you were because you did not get it.
because you're being a sensitive little bitch,
Oh
you
my
know? Like,
god, that's so funny,
uh, nah, okay.
but true.
Actually, here's a question.
Hmm.
Is it racist that we're recording this on MLK Day?
No, but I thought about it before you. I was like, of course, it would just happen, even though it's coincidence, because I had full control over the time frame. Even though it was coincidence, of course it would happen. Me and Pablo to be talking on of course, of course. So to an outsider looking in, absolutely.
You know,
But me
MLK
knowing that I
died
did
for our
have
sins.
our sins, I think that was Jesus.
Oh, my bad. Wrong one.
MLK.
Now they're gonna be like, y'all, Pablo's racist as shit.
But I literally thought about that before I called you today. I was like, well, what are the odds and how in a billion years would this happen? Of course.
Yeah, it's weird too. And just for everybody, we were trying to record this before MLK Day.
Yeah.
It just
It's
happened
been a
to
while.
land on MLK
Kids.
Day.
Kids are our excuse.
All right, so here's a real question then.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say that growing up and living in the South as a Black woman has been
Mm-hmm.
for you?
I would say it depends on like where you grew up. For me specifically, I grew up around so many white people that I didn't realize like how racist the world was until I went to college and everybody was literally separated. Like you could look and maybe it was the school that I started out at, but you could look in like the courtyard or whatever you call it, and you could see like the skateboarders, the people that dress in all black, the goth like people, and then you could see like the good dancers, like what you see on TV is what I saw my first day of college, like my first interaction with like that many people on that level. And so for me, that's when I had a culture shock. But
Hmm.
growing up, I didn't necessarily have that culture shock. Like I grew up with friends picking me up in like the limousines to go have sushi, like just stupid stuff that you don't necessarily grow up. So like for me, like my experience came on later in life when I started college and when I got into the professional workforce and things like that. And even I had like a big aha moment. I can remember like a couple years back calling my brother and saying like, I can't believe how racist people are because certain things just didn't happen to me. You saw it, you read about it, but certain things just did not happen for me just because of the environments that I've always been in. It was different. I grew up with white best friends and white sleepovers, and like it was a different world for me. So like I said, like it just really hit me on the later end of life where I knew about it, but I didn't have to actually live through it. So I mean, it had its positives, right?
Right.
But I just wasn't as prepared to deal with certain things the older I got because I'm just like shit. And then like my mouth and my attitude, obviously, it's not always good. Like I remember the people. I don't want to talk about how it happened, but when I crashed my car, I remember going to get it fixed and got a recommendation from a white girl. First mistake. Everybody that's nice to you isn't nice to me, and that's just the rule of thumb. So I learned
Right.
my lesson from that. Um, and she wasn't even like a white girl, like like you can break that down into different pieces. But I went somewhere that was deep country outside of Charlotte, and I should have known taking the road to get there that was the wrong place to go, and I should have just turned around. But they had my car for like months. It took them forever to fix my car. But I think that I was just put on the back burner. And I remember having an interaction with the lady, and I remember recording it. And this is before like recording things was like a thing that you do.
Right.
And I remember recording the interaction, and I just remember shaking so bad after it happened because she was so disrespectful to me. She just spoke down to me, and like it was just such a nasty interaction. And I'm just like, wow, people are really still this way, and it's bad. And so many people hide it. They hide it in their businesses, but they hide it, but they don't. Like it's very obvious. You don't go to the place. You don't do that. You don't hang with these people, but they don't. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but that was like one of the bigger moments for me, like as an adult, as a young adult, in my 20s, experiencing something like that. And when it comes to money, like I don't care what color you are, you're not about to mess with my money, you're not about to mess with my car, my health, my whatever it is that we're exchanging a service for. Like, and you're gonna treat me with respect. Whether I'm paying out of pocket, which I was, like the insurance didn't cover everything, like you're gonna respect me, you're gonna communicate with me, and I'm gonna get what I'm asking for and what I'm paying for in exchange. But sometimes you just have to put your foot down and remind people who you are too. Like, listen, take this color away, you're still gonna respect me like a person, and that's it. But it's just crazy, like how racist the world is.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, there are good actors
Mm-hmm.
and there are bad actors,
Mm-hmm.
and it just happens to be that there's a lot of more bad actors in the South than there are in the North. Not to say that there aren't bad actors in the
Yeah.
North, right? Like, let's be
Yeah.
real. Um, but I've met like so many people up here. They're like, "Yo, like the South, fuck that. I'm never going down there. That shit's
Yeah.
dangerous, and people are racist, and blah blah blah." And
Yeah.
it's like, well, there's a lot of racism up here too, you know?
Yeah, a ton. But they just hide it. They're not, and plus they also seclude themselves because some of them are just still stuck there too. They're still stuck in that place from years ago and they just refuse to embrace the new world, the new culture. Some people just stay to themselves. I mean, there's neighborhoods, there's cults, there's all these things that keep themselves in this little corner so that they don't have to interact or become what the world is now.
Yeah, it's it's very weird how humans are so good at adapting and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time are terrible at adapting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and I was actually talking to a friend of mine earlier today about like what is it, like climate change or global warming, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, man, like we are all so doomed, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, we're not. No, we're not. We're just gonna build walls. We're gonna move cities. We're gonna do all this crazy shit. And we're all gonna be fine.
Yep.
We just gotta adapt, right?
Building walls. Build a wall.
Yo, build the fucking wall. My mom's gonna be like, hell yeah, build that shit. I'm tired of all these illegals coming up over here. I'm like, mom, look in the mirror. Goddamn.
She's like, no, I worked for this. Don't put me in the
Yeah.
category with them.
She's like, yo, I'm better than them. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, you stay down south. All right. We don't need that shit in fucking New York.
Oh God.
Um, nah, but yeah, it's just weird, right? Like how
Yeah.
humans are naturally designed to group things together.
Yeah.
And one bad experience with one thing, and all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, that's
Yep.
not good, right? Like if I
It's so bad. Yeah.
like even with like alcohol to
Mm-hmm.
bring it all the way back.
Yep.
I had a
So
bad
true.
experience with like dark rum. And
You
from
just
then
haven't
on,
gone
I was
back,
like, yo, I don't want dark rum. Like
which is
I'll take
crazy.
almost anything else, but not dark
Yeah.
rum.
It's like just try it again. Like it's crazy. And the same thing goes for like medication or anything else. Because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, just because they had allergic reaction, then shouldn't we try it again? Like, why do we keep the same thing on their file? Like, try it again. But literally, that's everything in life. Like, I'm the same way, and I'm so guilty because I've let a person, and I'm can say I'm not that person anymore. But I had to have this conversation in my head that, you know, my mom had a bad experience with an African, and the way that she talked about them made me hate Africans. And
Mm.
every experience that I had became I didn't like them. And it seems like all my experiences and interactions, and then you break down the continent and you break down all the different places and people, and some of them are bad, some of them are worse. It's just like white and blacks. But and then I've had my interaction with Nigerians who have a strong, distinct um uh like they're very like the men are very like demanding and they're a certain type of way, and like I've had my experiences where I've put them all in a negative category and it just made me hate the entire continent. But like
Right.
I get it, but just because you had a bad experience doesn't mean you stay there. Like you try it again. Maybe you not try it now. Like it's like we teach our kids growing up. Like okay, you don't like the green beans today, but we're gonna try it again next week.
Right.
Like you don't just let that bad experience keep you there because it makes you closed minded and it doesn't make you a well rounded person. Like you have to try it again. Same thing with me and Jack. I mean, me and Jack had a terrible experience in Charleston, but I gave him another chance because, in the situation I was in, I had no business drinking that much of him on the beach. A beer in the sun is fine, but like hard dark liquor in the sun,
A whole
I was
bottle,
I
and
was
you're like, damn.
and it wasn't a regular size. It was like the super duper massive size bottle that we didn't even have business carrying out there. So like you have to try things again in a different setting because
Right.
everything ain't
Right.
meant for a certain setting. Like try it again, but don't let don't let that one experience put you and make you close minded about whatever it is, whether it's alcohol or people or anything like that. And I think that's where a lot of us make so many mistakes.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to distinguish um intent and an attitude, right? Because everyone's
Mm-hmm.
allowed to have a preference,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I have a buddy of mine who prefers to date, let's just say, I don't know, purple women, that's his
Ooh,
preference, right? Like he
Barney
prefers
women.
like the children of Barney. Like that's who his preference is, right? But that doesn't mean that he hates everyone else.
Yeah,
He just has a preference, right?
yeah.
Or he prefers not to drink Coca-Cola. Like I'm not a big Coca-Cola guy. I prefer to drink almost anything else, but that doesn't mean that he hates or
Yeah.
feels negative in any sort of like negative, violent, or derogatory way about Coca-Cola, right? He just prefers not to. And that's fine. I think preference is a very natural thing. I
It
prefer my
is.
eggs over medium with bacon, and that's it,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna like, yo, scrambled eggs, man. Like, fuck them. Like, nah, it's not like that, Like, and when you do meet people like that, then it's like, all right, then you can call them out, right? Like, yo,
Yeah, absolutely.
you got a fucking problem, right? Like,
Yep.
or you can just be like, all right, cool, you're not cool people. I'm not gonna hang out with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do think it's important to kind of, like you said, keep an open mind, and just kind of like be realistic. And I mean, look, you're gonna meet people of all sorts of backgrounds and preferences and hatreds and all that other shit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if they don't mean any real harm, they don't really understand what they're even saying or whatever, maybe just talk to them, right? Like befriend them and then kind of like show them a better path. I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure.
That's just my take, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely.
But
But
anyways,
but that's what friends are for, right? Like that's what community is for, is to help give you a perspective that you can't see yourself, because some people are just so stuck in a box. Like
absolutely.
they don't see it any other way. Like my boyfriend had been in the same job since high school, and I was like, when I met him, I was like, dude, well, we met him, I should say, because we've known each other for a while. But I was like, dude, you are so talented. And like he is literally like, you could put him anywhere and I feel like he would thrive. Like he has so many different skill sets that he could do anything. Very nerdy, but also very like hands on, and could do anything with the car, with a washing machine, but like also can hack into stuff. Like he's very well rounded, but
Right.
like all of everything has been stuck in that little box, because that's kind of what he knew. That's kind of how he grew up. And, there was a sense of he owed it back to his community. But like when he finally got out of that box, like dude is thriving. And I'm so happy like he got out of that box, because like the world is, it's his now. Like it's so much for him to grasp. But like so many people could stay in a box because we don't know, or we don't see it any other way. And I just think that's why community is very important. I'm always asking for feedback as a parent. What can I do better from the daycare? As a mom, what can I do better? Getting feedback from my kids or from my mom. It's times I don't want to hear it, and I'll even say it like, "Hey, I probably won't take your advice, but I'm open to it." Like I'm always asking for feedback because I want to be better. I don't want to be the best at everything, but I want to be better than, my own self. So I think it's important
And
to
that's a
have
that's a
that
that's a
feedback.
good topic to have, especially when you have closer friends,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had debates before where it's like, well, is it toxic to like make fun of them and like challenge them, or
Mm-hmm.
is it more toxic to just say, hey, whatever you're doing, great job,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're not challenging the people around you and you're not making them think of like different things or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, they're just going to stay there, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a group, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, whatever it is, that they're like, yo, like challenging you and pushing you and making you like question things,
Mm-hmm.
obviously there's a limit, right? It's not
Yeah, for sure. A time and
like
a place, for sure.
right. But like if you do something and you're like, yo, that was stupid, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're bad friends, right? Oh, you should be celebrating me. No, 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 no. Like
Yeah.
celebrating someone, I don't know. For me, it's like for children, right? Like
Yeah.
you want that positive reinforcement
Yeah.
so that whenever they do behave good
Yeah.
or achieve something, yeah, keep going, right? Like keep it up. But as an adult, you shouldn't be working for that praise, right? You should be working so you can better yourself. You should be working so you
Absolutely.
can provide. You should be working so whatever. But I do think it's really healthy when
Yeah.
people are like, wait, you took this job where? And you're doing what? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, are you dumb? Like you have to like present it to them so that they can actually like debate whether, wait, did I just make a mistake?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, I don't know. Obviously, like I said, levels of trust and relationships. But yeah, I don't know.
Totally. Totally. There's literally a time and a place for it. So, and they have to be open to it too. Like if they're not open to
Yeah.
it, like I told my mom that the other day, I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm okay with you giving me feedback, but like do it at an appropriate time. Like don't correct me in front of my children. Correct me later
Mm,
so we can talk through it. So I can say, okay, like I agree with you. I could have done better there, or this is how I'm going to do it, and let me fail until I decide otherwise. But
right.
like there's a time and a place. I'm not going to accept your correction, or you could come from a good place, but if you give it to me at the wrong time, then you just wasted good advice. Like even for me and swimmer, we were like that. Like I don't think I could have ever, the way that we talk now, I could have never done that in college, because
Mm,
we didn't have that type of relationship. We weren't in that type of space. But now, like we're older, we're wiser, like we have more things, that more experience to like lean on, and so like now she's more open to my feedback. But she definitely would have never took it before. And sometimes she
yeah.
gives me the middle finger, but you know what? It's okay.
I mean, my buddy gave me the middle finger last night.
My my boyfriend's daughter, and I hope I still have the video. I have to show you. She was like, she was there was somebody was watching her, and whatever happened, he recorded like the whole interaction, and there was no sound. But like I can only imagine, like I put my own words in the video of what I thought she was saying. It was hilarious. She double middle fingered the guy that was watching her.
That's
And I
amazing.
was laughing. So now every time we get out, like I sometimes will FaceTime him and just like double middle finger him, just because I think it's hilarious and he doesn't. But I thought it was the best thing ever. Like I wouldn't even be mad at my child. Like I would be cracking up laughing. Like I couldn't get mad. And she gave like a hard middle finger. Like there's a normal middle finger, and then there's that hard, like I felt you say F you to me.
The one that
It
like
was the
transcends
best.
everything.
Yes, it was the best. I loved it. Every moment.
Oh man, that's ridiculous. Anyways, when are you gonna come to New York and get some of
Um
that New York pie?
So we were trying to come actually in December, and I think it was like crazy cold, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not taking my 5-year-old." Um, and I had a free room and everything. It was so crazy. I was so mad that it didn't work out.
Mm.
I had a free room in like Teaneck, so random, but I don't know. We'll make a trip. I finally have my weekends, for the most part back, so I could always leave on a Friday and just make a weekend trip. I feel like every time I come to New York, I don't stay longer than 2 days anyway. But
Well, it's a lot, especially with a kid.
yeah, well, it'll be my first time coming with the kid. But I will come
Well, you let me
Q1 for
know.
sure.
You let
It'll
me
be
know,
before. Yeah,
and
it's gonna be,
I'll let the pizza joints know that you're coming,
please.
so they can make
And
some.
he eats pizza. That's about all he eats. So we'll definitely be eating pizza.
Yo, I was a late bloomer with pizza.
Really?
Like, I like the idea of pizza because I used to watch Ninja Turtles, and they would like eat pizza all the time. And I'm like, yo, I want pizza. And then we moved to America, and I get like that lunch square pizza,
Oh,
and I take a bite. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is
this is
this?
not Ninja Turtle pizza.
Yeah, this is disgusting. And I think I was like, maybe not until like middle school where I was like, oh shit, there's some
Pizza's
good pizza
good.
out there.
And you never stop eating Papa John since then.
But for real, I'm telling you, no, but I was really good. For the first couple of years that I was up here, I had zero Papa Johns. Zero.
Good for
And
you.
then year 4, I moved to Queens, and I just happened to find out that there was a Papa John's down the street, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Nobody should have ever told you. That's like me ordering McDonald's when I was in Costa Rica. Like, who does that?
Okay, look, McDonald's is delicious everywhere.
No, it doesn't taste the same everywhere. The further you go across the water, the sweeter everything at McDonald's is. It's not even the same as here.
Really,
So, yes.
I've
I
had
don't,
McDonald's. Where have I had McDonald's? Maybe like Spain, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Mexico,
isn't that
and
like, don't you feel like you have to try McDonald's every time you go like somewhere else?
man, I look.
Or is that just me? Like, I feel like I had, like, if there's a McDonald's, I'm not even a Taco Bell person, but I did have Taco Bell like out of the country too. But I feel like you have to have McDonald's when you go somewhere. You just have to. I don't know.
If it were up to me, I'd eat McDonald's in every country in the world.
That
But
would be fun.
but then people like talk shit to me, and they're like, "Yo, what are you doing to eat McDonald's?" And like
Dude,
fucking
you're just trying it. You got to have three, maybe four. You eat more meals when you travel anyway, so who cares?
that is true. I tell you what, I gained so much weight like in the
Where?
last like three
When?
months.
Where did it go?
Well, it's gone now. I got back into my routine here in New York. Fried chicken, pizza. Now I'm back to my regular scheduled fucking diet, man. But
Oh my God.
but I run. That's the difference. I try to exercise.
Good for you. That's one of my layers that I'm at this year. But we're not going to talk about it until it started. So it's not even worth the conversation.
Yo, that's the thing, right? Like what I tell some of my friends who are like trying to lose weight and stuff. I'm like, yo, it's just the little things, right?
Yeah.
Little
No,
things.
I'm trying to eat. Like, that's the thing that I have to start with, because I could work out, but I wouldn't have other than fat to burn because I don't eat enough throughout the day. Like Friday, for example, I worked from home for the first time, and I had therapy at 10 o'clock. I was supposed to have like parent teacher conference at 11. And then, of course, I have like all these emails that I need to respond to. I had like eggs. I also got groceries that day. So I'm like going to grab groceries, trying to make it back to the house in time before my appointment. Because stupid, my half my groceries weren't even delivered. They couldn't even shop everything the night before. And I get home, I ate like some eggs and like a little mini bagel. And then I didn't eat anything until like 3 o'clock. And that was 9 o'clock that morning. I didn't eat anything till like 3 o'clock. And that was carrots and hummus. So like I go these long gaps without eating, and it's like an everyday thing. So my body's just literally eating the fat, and I'm just getting fatter from the fat that's already been stowed away. And so I struggle with not eating enough throughout the day. And so that's my first layer. Like this year, it's about adding layers and progressing through the year, not trying to lie to myself and say I'm gonna do this, this, and this, because it's not
Right.
happening. Like I'm just
Right.
adding layers as I master everything. Like I'm not even starting with working out. I'm gonna start with stretching every day and squats. Like that's it. We're not even gonna lie. I had this treadmill I bought, and it's been sitting behind the door just, for a while now. We're going baby steps, my friend.
Yeah, it's always tougher when you try and like jump into the deep end, right? Like
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
it's
not.
like
I know
nah.
myself. That's why I failed last year and the year before and the year before. Like ever since baby number two, like it's been so much harder to balance. And I'm just still trying to figure that out. And I'm sure I'll be trying to figure that out for the rest of my life. But in between trying to figure out that balance, like where can I add on healthy layers and healthy habits is like my goal.
Well, definitely don't come to New York though, because the way I be eating up here, it's man, it's so bad. But
Sounds like it.
but I do exercise, so it kind of like works out.
Balance. That's good.
Yeah, because I mean, I tell you what, I'll never give up shit that I love.
No.
Like that'll
And you
never
shouldn't have
happen.
to. You shouldn't have to.
Right.
Moderation, like we talked about earlier, everything is in moderation. So
Right. Right. Finding
that's
that
all.
balance.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of eating 20 wings, I only eat 10 wings, like just cutting down.
Okay.
I swear to God. Oh man. I oh anyways, I'm getting older, so I gotta
Chicken wings
cut
are my
back.
thing. I could eat chicken wings every day. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I mean, fried chicken is like my weakness. Like I've been to like 30, 40 different chicken spots here in the city, and I'm like, all right, this one's good, that one's good, the rest of them are okay, that one's bad. Like,
My old boss told me about a chicken joint that was up there for forever. I can't remember the name, but he was telling me like how famous that place was, and he would go in there. He was the only white guy like every time.
all
And he was like, they had the best fried chicken you ever had. I
right,
was like,
I'm gonna leave you with well, first of all, you need to find out where that chicken place
I
is.
will absolutely,
You
I
let me
will.
know. I'll go try it out. But I'll tell you what, there's this, we'll end it after this. But the best fried chicken, if anyone in New York City is listening right now, the best fried chicken in the whole city is like maybe a 10-minute walk from the IKEA in Red Hook. And if I remember right, it's called like US Pizza or like US Chicken and Pizza. And it's like cash only, ghetto as fuck.
The cash only is always the best.
But holy shit, that chicken, I mean, granted, this was like years ago that I used to go there, but man, I would go there. There's like a brewery down the street, so I would go get some beers, go to that fried chicken spot, eat some fried chicken, and then we take the beer into the IKEA and get drunk in IKEA.
You sound like me taking champagne to Walmart. I remember like going to no, it was to the mall. I remember going to Walmart getting bottles of champagne. We had went out to eat, and I was like, everybody get a to go cup, and I filled up our we were like mimosas in the mall, But I graduated. We're on to tequila now, so
Oh shit! I'm telling you, this. I think this is why we got along in college because we just do dumb shit like that.
I mean, I don't think it's dumb. I just think everybody else is dumb for not doing it.
Actually, that's true. It's perspective. Just like we started, right? Is alcohol good for you? No, not really. But does it have benefits? Hell yeah, it's got benefits. You have a good time. You live longer.
You live longer.
I swear to God, people that don't drink die young.
Oh my God, shut up. It's
That's
not
just,
true.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Good for people that don't drink. I have not had anything to drink in a week today.
Well, I congratulate you.
Thank you.
I'm doing like semi dry January. So no more than
Yeah,
like 2 drinks and that's it.
that's good. That's progress. Now next week you can take it down to one drink. That's how I got to like dry January. I had to slowly start out. I was like, okay, only one bottle a day. And then, we'll go from there. So literally they were laughing at me at work. Literally the day before like my dry January started, I had bought like 6 bottles. I went to go get a bottle as a gift for somebody, but I mean, they all looked so great. And I had like 6 or 7 bottles of wine. And of course, I got to get one from every little continent. And so I got all this wine, and I'm like, well, I opened the bottle, I have to finish it. And so I drank the entire bottle, and I'm like, I don't feel anything. I can keep, cooking and cleaning and drinking another bottle. So I opened the second bottle, and I'm like, I started to get sleepy. It was time to go to bed. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll take it to my coworker, but this bottle can't go to waste. Like, you don't throw away alcohol, and wine doesn't last long. So what do we do?
Oh, you gotta drink that shit.
We pass our problems along.
Yeah, we do. But
Yeah.
anyways, nah, Agent, thank you for making the time on this very special MLK day.
Yes. Very special.
Gotta end racism, you know?
Absolutely. Change the perspectives of the people.
Yeah. Good luck with that. That shit's tough, but it's worth it when it works.
Yeah.
That's for sure. All right. Well, thank you. And just let me know when you're up here and I will find you some good New York pies.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And I can't wait to try the fried chicken and some beers too.
Oh my God.
You gotta find that place.
That place is so good. Fuck. I want fried chicken.
And pizza.
Yo, fuck. No, I'm being healthy because I'm telling you, I literally gained like 20 pounds.
I just don't know where it would have went, but whatever.
Well, no, we're good. I'll tell you that much.
Same for me. If it went to my butt, we would be good. Everybody would be good. That's it.
Right. Everybody make fun of me like, yo, you skinny as shit. And I'm like, yeah, but if I like, man, when I gained those 20 pounds, my whole like belly was like 3D. And I'm like, yo, like nothing, it went nowhere but my belly.
3D. That's hilarious. Okay, well, stay focused. Keep
Yeah.
going.
I'm going to go eat 10 wings instead of 20.
There you go. Progress.
Hell yeah.
Good for
All
you.
right. I will talk to you later. I appreciate it again.